Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. I felt like doing a let's test out new supplies art journal page. What a title. I wonder if that will get any search engine views. I don't know. But so I have these new sketchbook floozy stencils coming out. Maybe they'll be out by the time this video comes up. But I was thinking I would use this big grid here. And I'm using this. This is my experimentation sketchbook. It's an Arteza 9x12 sketchbook. I've had it for a while. Miraculously, the sizing is still good in this book, and I am going to make myself a grid. I'm gonna go in with pencil because I think I'll ink over it with pen later. Something I could do with this is I could spray the back of this with like what do you call it? Repositionable adhesive, but I'm just kind of, I just haven't. I think that would actually be a good idea for this one because I probably would mostly just use it from one side just because it's a symmetrical layout. With the original Sketchbook Floozy stencils, you'd want to be able to flip them and use the opposite side as well. But I thought this would be kind of fun. And of course, you can use masking tape. You can use a ruler. You know, you don't have to have these stencils. I only want you to purchase products I designed if they're something that will make your life easier. You know, something that would add value to your life. Don't just buy something because I put my name on it and you think, well, I need to have that thing. I don't want anyone to feel like that. I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're not part of my you know, club. They're not part of my tribe unless they spend money. I never want that. It's there if you want it, but don't feel pressured. I'm debating, let's see, how many could I fit? I think I'll probably just leave a little thicker of a border on that side. Do I want to do another row at the top, or do I want to maybe put a banner? I like the idea of putting a banner up there, but I mean, I could do a nice long banner. Or I could do another row of squares. I think it might be fun to do another row of squares, to be honest, because I got plenty of room to do it, so why not? And maybe I won't fill all the grids. I don't know. It's more opportunities for creativity, so let's do it. Of course, my sketchbook, the top of the stencil, you know what? Geez, Lindsay, why not? It's symmetrical. Turn it around so you can fit it on the page. Good grief. Good grief. And actually, this is the first time I've used this particular one. I've used the other grid for a swatch layout, and it worked really cute. Oh my gosh, it was so cute. I've also got the universal template coming out, which you can pretty much do whatever you want with the universal template, any square or box combination you want, so that might be a good option for you. You would have to go in and ink over it too. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, so here's what I have to play with today. I bought a brand new stick of Daniel Smith watercolor, and I actually have the pan version, so the tube version of that dried in pans. I've decided with Primatech paints from Daniel Smith, if I want them, find them in a stick because they just re-wet so much better. They're so much nicer to use. And so I got that, but I've also got my other Daniel Smith Primatech sticks there. And I got some Paul Rubens watercolors. I just purchased some, hopefully the unboxing of my very intentional art supply haul is up by now, but if not, it'll be coming up. I bought some Conté crayons that were on clearance on Blick, and I was really excited because I've had this set with all these little bits and pieces for about 30 years. I really liked them for life drawing, and I actually took them out landscape sketching. I thought, ooh, they had some clearance colors that were good portrait colors, so I thought I'd grab those. I'm hoping to find another life drawing class at some point, or a life drawing group. I used to go weekly when, you know, before I had children. I feel like my camera is a little crooked. I don't know. But I haven't found a group of it. And whenever I see one advertised, I will go, but it's been a couple of years since I've seen one. And then I purchased this gouache studio because my friend Shanna from Caution Artist at Play, we were out painting with a couple other artsy craftsy friends, and she had this, and I just loved what she was doing with it. So I thought that'll be great. Why don't I get that out too? And let's just play with these new materials, because I think sometimes we get something new and then it's like, oh, it's precious. What are we gonna do? And then we don't end up doing anything. And I think I might actually do some collage as well. So I've got a couple buckets of water over here. One is kind of dirty, but as long as I got one clean one, I should be good. And yeah, I'm going to use my mixed media brushes, I think, rather than watercolor, because gouache tends to need a little bit more oomph. So I've got my Zen All Media brushes. I really recommend those for gouache because they do push the paint around really well. I'm excited. I'm excited to play. This is a Sunday, so it's not even actually a work day for me. And that, I think, takes a little pressure off as well. So I've just got a flat brush here. I think I'll just start by wetting my first grid. And because I'm planning on doing some like collage with some gel printing maybe in here, I don't want to worry about keeping my lines precious. So I'm going to go ahead and wet a couple grids. I'm not going to do too many because they'll dry on me before I'm done, but I'm hoping that wetting the grids will help me keep some of the paint within the lines a bit. And I'm really excited to try this. Now, one thing I'm really curious about is I want to just go from the dry stick. I haven't put it in a pan obviously yet, but oh my gosh, I just love how well the Daniel Smith sticks re-wet. I know I've been critical. I'm critical of any company, honestly. I'll be critical of my own stuff. So I know whenever I use a Daniel Smith product, people are like waiting for me to like complain about something, but that's not what I do. I don't complain just to complain. I am critical of things that I don't like. So that is right from the stick. I'm so happy with how that re-wet. Ooh, where am I going to set that? I guess I'll set it right here for now. And then I'll just show you now granted, I would pre-spray the Daniel Smith pans before I went in there, but let's see how well that one does. And I am not using a watercolor brush. That actually did all right. That did all right. So see, I was complaining about nothing. That's just the difference between the stick and the pan, in case you're curious. I bought the set of, it was the set of, I'm going to grab some of these other colors here, I have to. The set of 6 Primatech, not value set, but like, you know, kind of tryout set. That's cobalt teal. Their watercolor tube of cobalt teal does re-wet really well, but I got that before I got the tube, and I was just curious about it. Oh, and that's Serpentine Genuine. I really love that one. And then I also have the stick of Sodalite, which is kind of like a navy blue color, which is really pretty. Navy blue black. Now I think that these colors might be in a set that's cheaper than buying the sticks individually. So I call it like granulating superpower or something. I can't remember what it's called, but all right, now let's get a little bit of gouache in on the action. I haven't even swatched these out, so that'll be interesting. I want maybe add a little yellow ochre gouache. Let's see how this. Ooh, wow, that re-wets really well. Something I like to do is just play, just like kind of swatch some stuff out. That is gorgeous. Let's see, what can I add to the yellow ochre that would look good? Let's do a little of this Viridian color. Oh my gosh, look how well that re-wets. It does look kind of like it's more of a watercolor. Obviously I don't have any black lines drawn, so. Let's try mixing some of the yellow ochre right into that. Oh, look how creamy that is though. Holy cow. Wow, look how opaque that is now. I just don't want to have like, I got some blobs of water that's coming off my brush. I don't want to have like crayon box colors in here. I mean, I want this to kind of have a little bit of a cohesive feel. Does that make sense? Let's go back and add some of that Sodalite. Oh, you know what I should have done? Oh, you know what, though? I can do that later. I can try drawing over with the... Why did I call it Sodalite? Pimeatite? Pimeontite Genuine? So the Daniel Smith Primatech range is a natural mineral-based color range. It's really easy to get sucked into the Daniel Smith marketing because if you read their catalog reads like a romance novel. It's so it's just romanticized. And I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, but I am kind of susceptible to that. So I want to see what happens if I just kind of draw. See, that's the one thing I've noticed with the sticks I don't like is just like sketching with them dry. You know, they just feel very draggy because they're more like a watercolor pan and less like a watercolor crayon. So I'm going to do a video on watercolor sticks coming up. I won't have that many of the Daniel Smith, but I do have a few other brands, and I think it might be kind of fun to, yeah, see, that's not very exciting. That's kind of mess. So I don't recommend using them like that, using them as a drawing material, but if you go over the wet, you can get a really, or if you wet the stick, you can get a more robust look. I think this is going to be really cute, especially if I might go in with like one of those bold pens when I'm done, like a 1mm Sharpie, not Sharpie, but like a Micron or something like that, because I always have those thick pens and I never do anything with them. I'm always using like the smaller sizes out of the set, so that'll be a good way to get those used. And you know, I just want to use my materials more. Maybe I'll bring in, I should really stick to my color scheme. Yeah, I want to stick to like maybe earthy tones. I hope this is like maybe encouraging you to grab out some of your new supplies, or maybe stuff that you bought it, you were excited about it once. Everything that's in your studio, you were excited about once, right? Even if it's something that was a gift, even if it's something that you bought at a yard sale, you were excited about it at one time to say, yeah, I'm going to add that into my stash. So remember that excitement. What is this color? Oh, can we make this work? Look at that. That is like a Victoria blue. It's so vibrant. You were excited about it once, so can you bring that excitement back? Now that's really, really vibrant. Let's see how these are. Is this an earth tone? Oh, that's purple. That's super vibrant. Let's try bringing it up here. Cross-pollinate our colors a bit. Oh, that's pretty. There's something that happens when you take a bunch of things and you mix them together. You kind of take things that are maybe a little bit discordant and you combine them. They get, it's like the sum is greater than the parts. So if I just had one of these little squares, it would, I mean, they'd be all right. It would be cute. Nothing probably to write home about, but it'd be fine. But when you arrange a bunch of small things in a grid, or you take a bunch of small sketches, maybe you go hiking, or you go to the beach, or you go, I don't know, to a new city, and you're sitting in a cafe and you're doing little sketches. Well, having one sketch of that will probably look nice. You know, it's a nice memory. But then when you group some sketches and you have a few sketches, then all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more. And that's what I love about doing the grids, doing the sketchbook floozy stencils. I had so many sketchbooks that it was overwhelming, and I just loved trying new sketchbooks. I think I loved what a sketchbook represented. A sketchbook represents freedom. It represents like a creative playground, a place that you can work on stuff and nobody will judge you. And because of that, it's so easy to grab a sketchbook. They're not precious, right? They're not precious, but then they can become precious, because it's like, oh well, this, I literally, oh my gosh, look at that color. It can become precious because then you're like, oh, this paper's really nice. I better save it. Oh, I don't want to mess up this first page of this sketchbook, you know. That color is wild. I'm not going to be, I'm going to try to stay in the realm of the page, but I'm not going to worry about it, you know. Bringing back that Pimeonite Genuine to kind of anchor this. That is a crazy wild color. That's like an opera kind of. Ooh, I like it though. And it's in a sketchbook. So that's the other thing about a sketchbook, is that you can be really free with it. You can use products like this color here. I can't remember if Shannon said she did a light fast test on this or not, but I'm sure somebody has. If not, I can do my own. This color looks like something that absolutely would not be light fast whatsoever. So perfect for a sketchbook. And if anybody knows where to get refills for this, please let me know. I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes when you add colors like this with granulating colors, you'll get like a really pretty effects. And add some of that cobalt teal. Oh, look at that purple. It's so pretty. But it's getting a little bit vibrant. Let's try the black. Who I just splashed. Not the black, the brown. I have just the gel print that I'm planning on collaging with this. This first layer is just about playing, really. Repetition. Repetition is going to keep this from being completely crazy looking. And get us used to these materials. I probably won't use every color in this palette just because I think that will just be a little bit too much. Although I wonder if I can mix something that's very similar to that cobalt turquoise, but I haven't really played with these colors, so let's see what this color is. Ooh, that looks like, oh, that's a beautiful turquoisey green color. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. As I say, I'm not going to use every color. Pick another color. So I've got dough rising right now. Today's the season opener for the Patriots, and we're having the kids over to watch football, and I'm making a big pizza party. And I wanted to get everyone together because one of my kids is going for a semester abroad, and I just wanted to make sure everyone got a chance to visit. This color is wild. This color is so neon. It's so acidic. I don't see how that could be opaque. Went out of the border. You know what? I think it's going to be fine being out of the border. So, speaking of criticism, and not being afraid to criticize myself or my own products, one thing that I noticed, especially with these grids, these thin grid stencils where you have to have so many openings, I've noticed that there were more burrs on these than the previous Sketchbook Floozy stencils. So I went in with an emery board and I just kind of I smoothed out the edges. I just went through on every edge, and that bugs me. That bugs me that is, and I don't know if it's because I have an earlier prototype, but it's got the packaging and stuff, so I would just say be prepared for that too if you're going to buy these stencils. And we've got this kind of, I love this. I love the kind of mosaic look of that. Oh my gosh. So I do just want to say that about the stencils, but it only takes a minute or two. Maybe takes a minute and a half to do that, but still. It's annoying to me. It's annoying to me. But I don't want anyone buying that, not knowing that it's a possibility. And then you can decide, is that, is it worth it to you? I don't want anybody to feel bad about something they purchased that I designed. I really like that green, that greeny turquoise color. It's so pretty. So I find one way to create the unity in these grid layouts is just to kind of take my dirty brush and bring it to the next few, and then you're getting that cross-pollination of colors. Now this this Arteza book, I don't want to make any like false claims about that either. This is a paper that is definitely meant for not a ton of layers. It will pill if you get crazy about it. I love the random texture of it. I think it's got a really beautiful look, but it is it's definitely a wood pulp, not super duper durable paper. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're thinking about the Arteza sketchbook. But you get 2 9x12 books for $22 on Amazon currently. So it is a good deal. I got the pink ones, but it comes in a variety of colors. They've been around for a few years, so that bodes well. I've had this one for a couple of years, and the sizing hasn't gone off on it, which is great. Now to be fair, it's not, you know, it's not like it starts off as Arches paper. It is what it is. It is a wood pulp student grade sketchbook, but it's you know, I feel like the sizing is good enough. I don't get feathered edges. I'm not having problems or issues with it. And I'm going to loop back to my my watercolor stick here. But for what it is, I think it's quite lovely. So I'll be puttering away on this over the course of the day, maybe the next couple of days. This is kind of a nice, something like this is nice to have out on your table too, because it's low stakes. You can, you know, add some little scribbles or little collage bits or whatever as you have a few minutes, maybe as you're thinking about what you want to do on a bigger project. I think we need more of those low stakes projects in our life. Maybe, I'm wondering, do I want to hit that? Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will. I'll hit into that little droplet of water and see what happens. Because maybe I'll add some spattering to this. I don't know. Oops. We lost control at the end here. And, you know, there's no law saying that you can't go in with a white paint pen at the end if you want to and clean stuff up if you don't like the sloppy look. All of this is to say, do what makes you happy. You know, do what you like. Just going to clean up that little bit of paint left on my palette there. This paper does not lift well, so I will tell you that, because I did try lifting off some gouache on a chart that I had made, and it was not the best for that. I'll clean up this a little bit too, add that somewhere. This would be a great palette. You could draw out a few of these grids, and you could use it to clean up your paint on your palette so it doesn't go to waste. You know, nothing better than using up palette paint, because then you absolutely know that it's not precious. All right, we're going to let this dry, and then we'll come and work on it a little bit later. All right, having a little break here, or I had a break, I should say. My goodness, it's many hours later. This is completely dry, and I thought I wanted to do some stenciling with some gold paint. And so I'm going to squeeze out some gold paint onto just this scrap of cardboard. And I've got some stencils here with small patterns that I thought would work pretty well. I like that one. I also have that little polka dot. I kind of like that one, but it's not my favorite. That one looks kind of cool, but again, not sure. I've got some rings there. Well, I don't know, maybe. I'll keep that out. I also have this clock, which is kind of cool. Just some random geometric shapes. I got some numbers. I don't know. I think if I do it in gold, though, then I'll have plenty of, it won't be really strong, and I think it will look good. And if it isn't strong enough, I can always do something with black, like maybe some stamping or something. So, let's set this aside for a second. I probably will go back and use the gouache some more. I've got a little stencil brush, and I'm going to replace the grid in the areas that I'm working, because, let me move that out of the way too. I'm running out of real estate here, because that way I won't get too much on the middle areas. So let's see, what do I want to do? I love organic shapes, and I like things kind of, is that on the screen? I like things kind of repeating. Now this is acrylic paint. Oftentimes I won't bother washing acrylic paint off of my stencils unless it's filling in the holes and being a problem. I might with the Sketchbook Floozy layout stencils, just because they're a little bit more of a clean type of project. I like this. We've got so many options here. I like that. I like having options. I don't want to like put that big ring like evenly over stuff. I definitely would want to have it kind of like off-centered if I'm going to do that. I do not know if I like the strings on this. I think it's to hang them up to dry, but I feel like they're going to get in the paint. And plus, it kind of makes them look like tampons. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but not really the aesthetic I'm going for in my craft room. But these are also from Craft Stash. I honestly usually will use a makeup wedge, like a cosmetic wedge you can get at Dollar Tree or any drugstore, because they're cheap and I can rinse them out a few times, and then when they get too janky I can toss them. But I couldn't find any. I think I'm out. I hope I have this lined up. I feel like that's not quite lined up there, so I'll be careful. Ish. I did get out of the lines a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. I do like the big clocks. I think that's kind of pretty, especially this gold with these dainty designs over areas that are kind of dark. Kind of breaks it up, lightens it up a little bit. You want to make sure you don't get too much paint on your brush. I like that number 2 there. I'm going to hit that as well. I don't even mind the little over spray that I got. Oh, this one's like a little corner piece. I kind of like that. And then it's like, also, I don't want to cover up, like this is some beautiful granulation there. I don't want to cover much of that up. So, you know, just got to plan. With stenciling, you can be pretty precise. You could also use Post-it notes and stuff to mask things out. Made kind of a booger of that, but oh well. Let's see. I'm running out of space to put things. I like the stars. I think they would do nicely. I don't want to set that on top of anything, you know? But then that makes it go off the edge a little bit. Oh well. We'll figure it out. And honestly, this is just an experimentation piece anyway. I'm not going to be too precious about any of it. Kind of just breaking up some of the dark areas here and there. I don't want to have too much of any one pattern. I want them to connect, so you know, if I can bring some stars over so that I get a little bit of cross-pollination, I think that's nice. I think I need some more star action over on the other side too. I think happy supplies are used supplies that have gotten used, so I'm not precious about keeping everything perfectly pristine. It's not great stencil etiquette to have your stencil be bouncing like that, like having it off the page like that, but try not to slide it. Ugh. It's not perfect, obviously. I've got some stuff that's not perfect going on here, but I'm not going to stress it. Now, there was some dots that I really wanted to get some dots, maybe some lines in here. Now, honestly, I should let things dry. For this, I feel pretty confident that I can stay within my grid. Now I'm going to add collage and stamping to this, so I'm really not worried about messing something up at this point that I won't be able to fix, you know? I want that one in there, I think. There's a real big dark patch there that I wouldn't mind lightening up. I might just go till I run out of gold paint, because that would be a nice, like, I put out a certain amount of gold paint, and once that's used, I've gotten that certain amount of gold paint on my project, so that would probably work out pretty well. Oh, got some random dots. I like those random dots. They're kind of like spatters. I like dots. I do tend to go for dots. I like that kind of organic, looser shape. Let's see. Maybe some numbers. I do like numbers as well. I would need to replace my mask if I'm going to do that. Oh, I had this kind of fear for a second that I didn't turn on my camera. 5, 6, 7, 8. I like that 5, 6, 7, 8, you know? It's kind of jazzy. Okay, maybe another number up there because I don't really have anything up there. Oh, I'm just loving this. I just love it. I love it. Is 1, 2, 3 too obnoxious? Is that too obvious? Maybe I'll do a 23. Maybe I'll do a 45. I could do 47. I could do a 48 because I'm 48. I don't want to do that. I'm thinking about this way too much. Let's do 23. It's arbitrary, but so is this whole project, I feel. All right. Then I've got this lovely. This stencil has a little bit of a different vibe to it because it's kind of it's a much more kind of playful, but we got some really great dots. I got gold paint on both sides of this at this point, so I don't know what I'm going to be, if I'll be protecting anything if I lay it back down. I kind of like that floating between two. Alright, I'm doing more gold. Making an executive decision here. A little bit more anyway. This is just regular, just acrylic paint, nothing fancy. It's not even expensive paint. It's Royal & Nickel craft acrylic, which actually I use a lot for projects. I use it for jelly printing. It's very similar to like a Liquitex Basics, I would say, if I had to liken it to something. Dun 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 dun. What do I want to add? I kind of like those hearts. Yeah, I do like those hearts. I think the hearts are cute. Because they're very playful. They look like, you know, something little kids would draw. Do you remember there was something, some book that I used to read my kids and they made a show of it. Charlie and Lola, maybe was the name of it. Charlie. And these little hearts remind me of Charlie and Lola. Charlie. All right. What am I thinking? What are you thinking? You can let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking that this is all right. Because I've got so much more to add. I do maybe a few more dots over here. Look at me, just throwing caution to the wind. All right, that's good. Okay, so when we come back, I'm going to add a little collage. I think I'm going to use this gel print that I made. I'm going to tear it into little pieces, I think, and glue it down here and there. And then some stamping, then maybe some mark making, maybe more gouache. Who can say? But this is where we are right now. I can tip it to the light so you can really see the metallic accents. I'm going to go clean my brush before it gets ruined. And yeah, we'll be back after this is dry. All right, it's the next day. This is nice and dry, and I want to do a little bit of collage. And I'm just going to start by tearing a strip of this. I don't think I want to put collage in every grid, but I do want to put it here and there. This is deli paper, so it'll glue down really well. So far, I've kept really light colors, and I like that. I'll probably grab my scissors, and I'll just, if I know I want something to kind of come off the edge of an area, I'll just snip it. I've got a piece of catalog paper here so I can do my gluing, and I'm just going to use a glue stick. I thought about using matte medium, but where this is just like catalog, where this is just deli paper, it's really thin, it's kind of like tissue paper. I don't feel like I really need to do that. The glue stick is going to be fine. It's a permanent glue stick. I really like these Scotch permanent glue sticks. Because if I used matte medium and sealed down over top with matte medium, then it would affect stamping on top, and I do want to do some stamping. Ooh, I like this kind of teal color here. And if I get a little of this glue on the front side by accident, then I don't think it's going to be a big issue. Oh, this is really lots of gorgeous colors. I decided just to do one piece of collage paper for this because there's so many colors in that, and I don't want to get too overwhelmed because I've got so many layers, so many things going on. So I just want to make sure that it's not too busy. I want it to look nice when I'm done, and I probably wait until the end to add black, or I might stamp with black. I'm not sure. I did just ink up my brown and black StazOn pads because they were dry, and I don't like to use archival ink over acrylic paint because I find that it doesn't dry unless I heat emboss it, and I don't want to be bringing in embossing powder because then that would really disrupt other things sticking to it. Where did I want this? I can't remember. Maybe there, break up some of that polka dot. And I've got some gold on this paper too, which I think will work out nicely. Break up the direction a bit. Have some go horizontally. Is that where I want to put it? Or there? Oh, I think I actually like that. It's funny, because there's so many grids, there's so much repetition, sometimes I change my mind from where I want to put something. If I have something I really like, then I often don't want to cover up too much of it. I like that. I like that with the white. I wouldn't be too worried, like when you're tearing down collage paper this small, I wouldn't worry about what you've stamped or stenciled on it, because when you get the tiny little bits, you can't really tell what the pattern was. So if it's something you think, oh, that's not going to go, I've got all these organic shapes, and that thing I want to glue down is like electronics or schematics or something like that. It doesn't go. But once you have little bits of it and you have these colors that kind of bridge the gap, like gold, for instance, then it works. It's like you need some balance, rhythm, contrast. I also like how you can take all these different things that you're interested in and make them work together. Ooh, I like that little piece of teal there. I need to get some more of these glue sticks. I think I'm about out of them. That one might be my last one. This is such a fun way to get to know your new supplies, get them integrated into with your older supplies so you can kind of see how they play together. See what you like. Remember how I said I wasn't worried about that little bit of gold? Well, look at that. I don't have to be worried about it because I'm going to cover it right up. Deli paper is so lovely to collage with. It's thin enough that I'll be able to stamp over it. And then I think I'll carry that little bit like over right there maybe. I kind of like that, carrying something to the next page. Fingers will get sticky during this process. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of sticky on the page. Ah! Didn't get enough on there. Or my finger's too sticky. I think it's alright. Come on, you carry over. Ah, shoot, come on. Ah. Like that. I try to change up the direction, but you are going to have like that's going, like it's got horizontal lines, but it's going in a vertical strip, and I'll have another vertical strip there. But then if I didn't want to copy that same material in the same direction, but don't worry about it too much. Just kind of go with what you think looks good. And I've got some stenciling that didn't come out so hot right there. I can cover up, which is kind of nice. Move it over a little bit. And then when I come in with the stamping, I can go in the other direction with the stamping, so it doesn't seem like it's too bad. I kind of like the idea of spanning 3 spots like that. Maybe I'll try to go like that and then just trim out the part I don't need. You know, it can go in with my scissors like that. Just cut the gaps out. Yeah, I like that. I'll need a little bit more glue underneath the ends. Okay, is that enough collage? Just a little square right there will be good. If I use matte medium, these pages might be a little bit more translucent. I want to try the tissue paper. I've got how many pieces? 1, 2, 3 pieces without anything on it. I might just leave them. I'd like to try the tissue paper. What do you call it? Wet strength tissue paper, but I haven't yet. All right, I want to do some stamping as well. I've got this stamp here, which is one that's from my set with Craft Stash, the background set. And make sure I have it. It's, yeah, like that way. But I think I want to put the stencil back down before I do any stamping. And I'm going to use StazOn, so it will stain the stencil, but I can clean it off with alcohol if I want to. And I've got brown and black. I think I'm going to do brown. I can always do some stamping with black later if I want to. And I'm hoping that the pad is nice and juicy because I did just ink it up. I'm just going to test it here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. This is Timber Brown. I typically don't like StazOn, but like I said, archival, even though it's a waterproof permanent ink, it's not going to dry on top of the acrylic. Don't want to be too repetitive. Let's do it 3 times. Oh, I like that. Okay, so now I like the brown. I have this other stamp that I made using my stamp maker like ages ago. I think I might try that here and there. Don't have, it's not really, I'm just going to ink it up and press it with my hands. Ooh, I hope it does a good job. I'll test it on the, you know, I really should get a mount for this. Ooh, you know, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if that's gonna stamp well enough. I don't really need a full background. Maybe I'll just... Oh wait, I did bring a mount. I did bring a big mount in. But do I want to do that much? Oh, I don't know. Alright, let me use a little glue stick to actually stick this onto the mount because it is not sticky anymore. And I'll also have to wash that off the mount later. Get ink on my hand. There we go. This is just a little distressed polka dot stamp that I made, but where it's got so much surface area, I don't know how well it's going to do. Give it a good push and expect it to be not perfect. Get what you get and you don't get upset. Oh gosh, and it pulled it right off the mount. Oh, because that stencil is so was sticking to it. I don't think I really like that, but I do maybe do it in another area just to help repeat it a bit. This will need a good wash too, I think. Maybe I'll just kind of, probably more of a design, better for stenciling, honestly, but I just kind of wanted a little bit of a, Yeah, actually, I think that works out all right. Then maybe a little bit down here on this corner. Maybe like right there. It's like cooking, you're just seasoning to taste, right? There. Oh, that one's stamped actually much better. I kind of like that. Now, what else did I bring? I brought a couple other text stamps, but I kind of like this. This is just kind of a, I think it might have been it was either a texture, it was either a texture plate from Sculpey, or it was on a wheel, but it's really flat. It's actually feeling really hard. I'm surprised. I think I'll just kind of do this one by hand. It's rubber, so it's probably not going to squish quite as well, so it'll be a little bit more random, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, so you didn't get much. Probably dried before I even got it there. But let's just do it in another spot as well, just to have a little bit of continuity. This one needs a glycerin treatment. It's really gotten hard. Okay, maybe do one more, because it's so light. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do of that one. Alright, so when you have the stays-on pads, you'll want to, this comes with this little insert, you want to make sure you do put that on there. It's going to help it dry out. And I alternate, like I just re-ink these with the ink itself, but I alternate, and one time I'll do the ink, and then the next time I'll do alcohol, and I'll just rotate, otherwise the pads get really sticky. So not my favorite, but sometimes you need them because the other things won't dry. Alright, so now I want to use some conté and add some shading, I guess. Some shading maybe to the edges on some of these. I'm not going to worry about the white borders right now because I just love how this looks. I'm not going to worry about that because I can, I'm going to go in, I'll erase any conté that's gotten in the way, and then I can touch it up with, I have this paint that I really like. I get it at Blick, but it's by Chromacryl, I believe. It's the, or that's the brand, Chroma, maybe is the brand name, I'm not sure, but it's a blockout white, and I've tried the Blick brand. I didn't like the Blick brand as well, the Blick acrylic, but the Chromacryl works really, really great for that. Okay, I think I want to get some of these other colors since I did go ahead and buy a couple new colors. But I got all neutral ones because I tend to use these for like life drawing classes. But any place if I want to tone down or add some shading, I can do that with this. Oh, shoot. Okay, so let me just go in really quick with a eraser. Clean up any of the borders. Can also clean up pencil lines if I want to from our when we first sketched the grid in. Mostly I just want to get out the chalk that... Now the nice thing about conté is that it doesn't smudge. Once you smudge it down, it tends not to smudge up too much, so that's kind of nice. Like once you do that first smudge with your fingers. Okay. I need a dusty brush. Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my my chrome acrylic, or you can use white gesso, whatever you have, and I'm gonna clean up my edges. And then we'll think about what we want to do next. Mixed media is so fun, and it never has to be done till you're happy with it, which I think is the most fun. Actually, before I go in with the white paint, I think I want to use some of this black maybe in some areas. Maybe... Ooh, I don't know. Now I'm kind of like nervous about it. Just think about making some little marks. Actually, I don't think the conté likes to go over that those base layers that much. It's not stark. I like that it's not stark. Yeah, I like it though. I can kind of go through and make little shapes, make little just random marks, I guess. All right, I think that's good. Just gives me a little bit extra, I don't know, a little extra flair. So now I've got this, and I'm going to look for that piece of cardboard that I used to put paint on before. Maybe I threw it away. Oh, maybe I did. Shoot. Did I? Oh well. I guess I'll fold this in half again and I'll put it on here. Disposable palette. So this is what it looks like. Chrome acrylic. It's a student's acrylic. I get it at Blick, and it's about $8 for this really big jar. About 16 ounces, I think. But it is so opaque. It is wonderful. Hopefully that's enough. And for a brush, I think I'll just use a filbert. Hopefully that'll work well. And it's probably going to be, I might need a little bit more paint than that. It's probably going to be a little bit whiter. I think I'll do the outside border last. Probably a little bit whiter than the paper, so I'll probably go around everything just to clean it up. But I kind of like how it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have a little bit of an organic flair to it just because, you know, I'm not painting in a perfectly straight line, but it has the order from the stencil where I marked everything out. And that's where I think a tool can be really useful. You know, you get something that that can kind of inspire you to use your other materials. And that's when you add something to your stash, I think it should be something that makes you want to use your other materials more, not something that makes the other things you have redundant. And it may be something that you can do with your other materials. Like, yeah, you could definitely take a ruler and measure out a grid. Absolutely. You don't need to buy my stencil. But the nice thing is that if it sparks something, if it makes you want to use your materials where before they were just kind of sitting, then I think that's good too. These Arteza sketchbooks are perforated on the top or on the side, so I can easily take this off if I want to take this out of the sketchbook, because honestly I think this is cute enough to frame. I think it's really, really fun. I could maybe even make a pattern paper out of it, scan it, make it into a pattern paper that I could use for something else. I think it'd be pretty just to hang on the wall, honestly. There's something really satisfying about a nice thick piece of paper, that like thick watercolor paper that's got all sorts of other like layers on it, like just the tactileness of it. I think I need a little bit, well, yeah, I need a little bit more white. I might even need another coat. I don't think I put it too heavy. When you find those supplies you really like this white acrylic paint, it's really nice. It's really nice. You just like, okay, I've settled that. I've got that figured out. Don't have to think about white acrylic paint again. If I go over some gouache, I may get some bleed through because gouache does not dry permanent unless you have acrylic gouache, which is not what this is. This is an opaque watercolor. Yeah, you can see kind of the bleed through coming up there. I don't know if this brush is the way to go. I'm going to try a different brush and give it another coat because I feel like that wasn't giving me a very good result. I didn't want to have ridges. Usually with round brushes I end up with a ridge, but and I know I want to use a little bit of pen on top of this to, like, I think I want to outline the grid. Maybe I don't though. I was thinking I did, but now I'm not sure. Actually, I kind of like the broken lines of the white paint. I'd say you could let me know what I should do in the comments below, but I will have finished this by the time I post it, you know? It's not like if I was doing this live, and I could take feedback. That would have been fun. I think I want to do some spatter with the white too. Yeah, I think I do want to outline it. I think it'll make it look a little bit more interesting. But I like how it came out. I like that you could like do whatever theme you wanted to, keeping that like the framework of the grid, which is kind of like a safe little guardrails, and then you can add in, you could do it all Halloween colors, you could do it all Christmassy, you could do it like an advent calendar. Oh my god, how cute would that be? To have like an advent calendar where you could like cut windows and turn it into like a little advent box. I think that'd be so cute. All right, yeah, I want to do some spattering, so I'm just going to add a bunch of water. A nice thing about the doing a little disposable palette like this is that you don't have to worry about like getting acrylic paint down your sink. I wonder if I can get a nice big splash. Ah, yes. You could also splash it with white gouache if you want. You don't have to do this either. You know, if you're like, oh, Lindsay, the spatters, I hate the spatters. Why do you do that? You don't have to do it on yours, which is the wonderful thing about art, right? That's the great thing about art. We can all do what we want to do. All right, I'm gonna let this dry and then we'll come back for finishing touches. All right, the stencils include the inside pieces as well because I think they're kind of handy to use as masks. So what I did is I took one of those and I trimmed off like about 1/8 of an inch on two sides so that I would have a slightly smaller kind of like window that I could trace. And I'm just going to stick this piece of tape on there just so I know I have something to hold it with, and then I know this one is the small one. So if I'm going to do this again, I have that. So if I just put this around there, I'm going to have a little bit of a gap, and when I draw it, it'll be right to the edge and it won't overlap and I won't have like a halo of white around them. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And I've got this pen. This pen has two different widths. Let me just show you here. So that's the one I think I'm going to use. That's probably about a, I don't know, 1 millimeter. And then I've also got, actually, you know, that one's not too bad. Maybe I'll use that one that's a little bit smaller. Let's see how that looks. And I got a mess everywhere. All right, I'm going to try to keep my head out of the way, but I'm sure it'll get in there. See, and I know that all my things aren't going to be exactly the same. I might need the bigger one. I don't know. Okay, I'm kind of nervous to add black. You know, I think I'm going to go with the bigger end, because that's why I trimmed it smaller anyway. And so, you know, you could write on with like a Sharpie, write on the little, the things, so you could tell it like how, like if you, because you have 9 of these like windows, you could cut them down and you could make a note on each of the little windows of how big they are, so that if you wanted to leave more of a border or less of a border, you can. Maybe I should have gone a little bit bigger, but oh well. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm going for. I'm just playing, and that's all right. Oh, I kind of like that. It's going to give it a little bit of a crispness, but I think if it's a little bit wonky here and there, that's fine too. You could see how I went over in some aspects and whatnot. I thought a nice wide frame would look kind of cool, like that, a nice wide line, I should say, stroke around it. Maybe I shouldn't have trimmed it so much. Maybe I should have just done a sliver. Maybe I shouldn't have trimmed it at all. I don't know. But I find that if you repeat an element, even if you don't exactly love it, if you repeat it, it will start to look normal and it will look like it's intentional. I mean, I think if things look intentional, then they look good. And intentionality is definitely something that I want to bring more to my art practice. I'm kind of thinking, is this, maybe I didn't do it exactly right. Maybe it will go better this way. could turn it depending on what works best for each square, I suppose. There's something so satisfying about all these layers, seeing all these thick layers. The reason I'm doing this instead of putting like the stencil back on top and tracing it is because, well, I could have done that actually. I thought my squares might be a little too small if I did that way, but maybe they would have been about right. This way I have a little bit more flexibility. I don't know, I guess there's many ways you can do this. I think I probably trimmed that too small, but oh well. We're all learning. Let's get some eraser crumbs. I like it though. I think it does look kind of cool, even with those the black lines kind of overlapping here and there, and having some of the design peeking out from the outside. Oh shoot, what did I do? Oh, you know what? There's a bump of paint under there, that's why. I just ran the edges of the window piece here. Yep, I got collage and paint there. I ran it on some sandpaper just so I wouldn't have any burrs or any rough edges, so that when I did trace this it would be nice and smooth. But this pen here has a fine tip on the other side, or a finer tip, so I'm thinking I might just do a little bit of doodling on some of them. I love projects like this. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. It's so nice to do when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed out. And you can be stressed out for any amount of reason. You could be stressed out from something that's going on in your life. You could be stressed out that you don't know where to go in your art practice. You could be stressed out by your job. You know, you could be stressed out from a variety of different things. And making art like this, where you're just kind of using your intuition and just having fun and not putting pressure on yourself to have this amazing outcome, is just so rewarding. Oh, I'm loving this. I love this and I'm not an abstract painter, so I think there's maybe something a little bit freeing about it because I'm not an abstract painter, so I don't feel like I've got to prove anything because it's not what I do typically. But I also love the fact that you really can stretch your design muscles when you take away the desire to have something representational when you're done. Kind of reminds me of like a little calendar. Wouldn't it be fun if we made like an advent calendar and then like this was the front of it? How many boxes would that be? How many squares did I make? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so there's 20. There's 20 squares. What treasures would we put behind here? Of course, I'd want to put art supplies, but what, that would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool to find an art supply advent calendar that actually had really good stuff? Because you see them, and they're generally, you know, they're generally not worth the value that you pay. But if you were making one, or you're making one for a friend, that would be cool, because then you'd be like, hey, I'm making a gift, so I'm going to go for the good stuff. I don't have to worry about making money with it. I'm just going to go for the good stuff. I would put things like, you know, it'd be actually really fun to do like a, like one for like, what do I want to say, like a mixed media artist and have like collage thingies in there. And it could be random stuff. It could be like a roll of posted washi tape. It could be just little bits of ephemera. It could be funky journal clips. It could be so many things that you could use in like a mixed media piece. It could be like some cool pens. Of course, pen wouldn't fit behind this box, but you know what I mean. Roll of washi tape would. Or some little sticker sheets or little sticker pieces, sticker flakes. You could also have just hand drawn around these boxes. I think that would have looked really cute too. They would have been a little bit more wonky, but that would also look neat. I'm wonky enough as it is, so I think having a little bit of structure for me is good. even though my boxes are not matching up perfectly because of the randomness of my application of materials. Okay, so now if I go with something a little bit thinner, oh, now this is kind of a little scary to think about going in there with doodling, but maybe I'll just kind of go through and kind of enhance some of the designs that I already have there. Getting kind of like, I don't know, doodly vibes. Maybe kind of go off the pattern a bit. I think I stamped upside down. The script looks kind of upside down. Not that it really matters because it's a like just a kind of loose script. I just want to kind of make doodles loosely based on what I see, what I can see in the patterning a little bit. Like there's like this mesh type of doodle because that's what I pressed mesh down into the jelly plate and then I pulled a print from there. It's kind of like being in school and doodling on your notebook. See, yeah, I tend to want to go to representational stuff anyway. Kind of curious about that, the gouache. I wonder if it will show up on top of this, so I might do a little bit of gouache touches as well. I think of them all as kind of their own little paintings. Things in threes work pretty well. All right, I think I'm going to pull out the gouache and let's see if the gouache will show up on there. I just love this. Oh my word. I hope I don't ruin it because it does look so cool. I don't know if I should, spray this ahead of time or not. It seemed to reactivate really well, but, oh, you know what? We can try the white gouache as well. I think I'll put some, a little bit of that out. Maybe a couple little dabs in case I want to do a couple little, like, pastel tones, because I think I would want, like, pastel tones if I want them to show up on top. And we can try out the brush that comes with it as well. Let's give it a spray. Why not? I can leave it open because I'm at home. I don't have to worry about it traveling. And also, it's got everything's plastic except like the metal. The tin is metal, but this whole tray is plastic, so I don't have to worry about like rust or anything. All right, so I love this teal color, so I think I'd like to mix something that's similar to that. So I'm going to start with this lovely turquoise color. Oh my gosh, that's just about it right there, isn't it? Gosh, that's pretty darn close. Let's add that a couple places and see what we think. That's pretty. I think it needs a little bit of yellow though. Really impressed with how well that, oh, that's pretty. That's not the color I was going for, but I like it, so I'm going to put some. Oh, and then if I've got some white areas that I don't want on the inside of a box, I can go in and fill it in. Gosh, I'm pretty impressed with that color, with the opacity of it. Usually don't use a round brush for gouache, but it's working all right. Okay, I want to get some more of that turquoisey color though. So this is a Taklon brush, number 8 round. That's a pretty useful brush. Well, maybe I need a little bit more of that. I might also need a little bit of that blue. I wonder what that blue is like. Let's see. So I don't think, maybe the colors aren't quite as luminous as, say, the cobalt teal I had there from Danielle Smith, but that was a watercolor stick, not a gouache, so that makes sense why that would be. Little prim hearts. It's fun to carry a theme around. I think I took too much white. I don't think I'm going to need all that, but I can let it dry on the palette and use it for something else. Maybe make some pink. Let's see how the pink does with some white. I don't know what people think of this, if they'll be like, oh, I can't believe I watched an hour of that, or Or what? I'm sure some people will be like that. Why did I watch this? More pink. Colors really break down well. I don't know if I like a round brush for gouache though. I typically don't, and mainly because it doesn't seem to like want to push the paint around well enough. I'm pretty happy with this though. I don't have any complaints. Oh, let's try some yellow. How the yellow will be on its own. I'll do a little. Ah, actually looks like it'd be alright. I was thinking it might be a little too watery, especially on a round brush. Round brushes hold a little bit more water. That's why they're so nice for watercolor. This white gouache seems to be doing fine for me. Oh shoot, I got an end sticking up there. I need to reglue that. I'm curious if any of the colors from the first layer are going to leach up. That's sloppy. I'm not crazy about that, but I'm going to go with the smaller brush. I think that's a pretty decent brush that comes with it, but it's just not, you know, going to be useful for everything. I kind of want to add a little bit of yellow over here. Not too shabby, I don't think. I feel like I want some black there, but let's see. I am really liking this. Let's see what could go there. Oops, I don't want that big end. Shoot. Did not mean to do that. Like planets or moons or something. I like the colors. this is quite a fun mixed media thing. I like it. Excuse my my stomach. I don't know why it's growling. I just had lunch. And the other thing I really liked about this project is that I've been picking away at it for the last, like yesterday and today, and I found myself thinking about this project a lot when I was away from my studio, and I think that's really nice, because if you have something you're looking forward to getting back to, then it's just nice, because you're not going to come into your studio and then be like, oh, what I'm going to work on. It's like you've got that, you've already made that decision. You've already got that idea. Well, I mean, and I think you can keep working on anything as long as you want to, but I think I'll call it done. And maybe do another one. Why not? It's fun. This is, you know what, something like this you could have, like, if you had like just a special, like a separate work area, you have separate work area, you could like just set it up and go and add a layer whenever you have a moment. I think that is so fun. I'm so happy with how that came out. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'll bring it up and give you some close-up looks, but yeah, I mean, if you want to get my stencils, they will be available on Friday the 13th of all days over at Craft Stash. I'll put a link in the video description, and you can check that out if you want to. And I don't know how many they ordered, but the first set of Sketchbook Floozy stencils sold out within 2 weeks. So I don't know how long these will be around for, but hopefully for a while. And if you want them, you can take advantage of them. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of like explorational, is that even a word? Type of video. And maybe we'll do some more if that's something you guys like. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye!